What I love about coming to New York City is that the Korean restaurants here are not just traditional, but they're forward-thinking. There are chefs like the ones at Junghyun and here at Atoboy that are taking Korean ingredients and Korean dishes, and they're kind of rewiring them. They're thinking about how we can push the cuisine forward and not just look back. How is this chef taking Korean ingredients? How is he taking ideas from his childhood and then applying them in a fine dining setting, and yet serving them for under $40 a person?
I'm born and raised in Korea. My palate is like totally Korean. I got an inspiration from the Vietnamese food, also got a, inspiration from French or also Spanish, you know. Let's go. This guy, steam chair.
Whoa.
There's like different modes, so you can choosing what type of the kimchi you're gonna store.
Oh, this is our kimchi.
Ooh.
So you can see the different kimchi here.
Yeah, let me try the ramps. Oh, it's good. That thing is so funky. It's so good. And I love how the ramps, like the kind of that hit of the ramps has been tempered, and now it's just pure fermented funk.
Yeah. And this is the eggplant, really cool kimchi.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, it's really juicy, is it? Yeah.
It almost has this kind of cooked tofu-like texture because it kind of collapses as you start eating it. It's actually a set menu. So for $39, you can get 3 courses. We're gonna start out with some of the lighter dishes. We have this lotus root, this pickled lotus root, which is actually a classic Banchan. Underneath the lotus root, he has a little bit of this silken tofu, and he's mixed it up with some various sauces. I'm gonna take this in first. So he takes a little bit of chili oil and he covers the top, and there's a little bit of seaweed that gives a little bit more of umami flavor. This is pretty standard issue banchan. This is a typical way that you would start out a meal, except that he undergirds it with this silken tofu. I think it gives the dish a little bit more substance, something you can really enjoy as a first course, because banchan is something you would really have an array of, and since you're just eating one, you want a little more heft to it, a little more protein. When I asked Chef Junghyun about this, he was telling me that, this is just like my take on yukke, which is a classic Korean raw beef dish. Doesn't really change it up too much, except for, I think most saliently, he uses the stinging nettle sauce. I like how you get a lot of crunch and a lot of bright notes from the pickled radish. There's a nice set of greenery here that you wouldn't normally expect, because I think when I have this dish, it's a little more decadent when you have with egg yolk. You just put a raw egg yolk in there and you stir it up, and it has a lot more soy. This is more, I guess it's taken it back a little bit. You can get some of that beefiness. I'm not sure this is really reinventing anything, but if you've never had yukke before, it's a little more approachable because it's not as salty, more sweetness, more vinegariness. The idea behind this was boribap, right? Boribap is something that you can get as a start of a meal, and it's just steamed barley, and then you mix it up with a little bit of doenjang, which is fermented soybean paste. So he uses a little bit of, he calls it samjang aioli, so he makes an aioli with doenjang. He takes some of this pickled onion for a bright note. What you would traditionally do is you would make a little wrap out of it. You take a perilla leaf, take some barley oats, a little bit of samjang, and then you would put pork belly. But here, he's using pork jowl, which is pretty similar in texture. It's a little fattier, has less meat, but it keeps together really nicely. He actually confits it, and then he sears it on the pan. And because he's using the perilla powder to kind of coat the whole thing, it gives you that same feeling, but without any of the greenery. Yeah, so it becomes almost rich and risotto-like with the aioli. A little bit of onion, and then you got that seared pork jowl. See, yeah, you can see that you get that layer of the meat right there, and then there's the layer of fat right on top, and that's the part that gets seared. That's delicious. I think this is like my favorite course of the whole thing, that pork jowl. I mean, Koreans love pork, and it's just the essence of pork flavor in that jowl. It's a complete bite. It's really everything that you want from a Korean experience. Really great modern dish. This to me really encapsulates what Atoboy is about. It's modern Korean food, but it's approachable. It's fine dining, but it's not gonna break the bank. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more of modern Korean food on display, click right here.